I've never posted anything this personal before, but I need to get this off my chest. It's long, so thank you if you stay with me. This isn't just a rant, it's the truth about my family, the money they stole from me, and what I found out that changed everything. I'm 19 now, and just finished my first year of community college. I was supposed to be at a great university right now, on a full ride from my mom's life insurance, and a college fund she started before she passed. My mom died when I was 10. She was everything to me. I lived with my dad and stepmom after that. That's where everything started going wrong. At first, my stepmom Kelly acted like she cared about me, but things changed fast. I got hand-me-down clothes while her kids got brand new stuff. I was given chores while they were playing video games. Even at family dinners, they'd talk like I wasn't even there. But what hurt the most was what they did with my money. My mom's life insurance payout was supposed to go into a college fund for me. She was clear about that in her will. Every year on my birthday, my dad would say, "That money's safe, it's growing. Don't worry." I trusted him. He was my dad. Why wouldn't I believe him? Then came senior year. I started applying to colleges. Got into 2 amazing schools. When I brought it up at dinner, my dad looked uncomfortable. Kelly said, "Honey, we were thinking maybe you should go to community college for a year. It's cheaper and smarter." I didn't understand, but we have the college fund. That's when my dad snapped. "Don't talk about that like it's yours. We've had expenses. Life isn't cheap." Later that night, I checked with the bank. The account my mom had set up for me, closed, empty. They took it all, every last dollar. I wanted to scream. I felt like my mom died all over again. I asked where the money went. My stepmom said her son needed braces. Her daughter had cheer camp, and we're a family now. You don't get special treatment. But that was my money. It was for me. My mom left it so I could have a future. I was crushed, but I didn't give up. I moved out after graduation, got a job, started saving, went to community college on my own dime. I thought that would be the end of it, but the story wasn't over. One night while I was visiting my grandma, my mom's mom, she handed me an old box from the attic. "Your mom wanted you to have this when you were ready," she said. Inside were letters, photos, and a USB stick. I took it home and opened it. The USB had scanned documents, emails between my mom and her lawyer. She knew something wasn't right with my dad even back then. Turns out she had quietly made a second trust fund, one that was protected. But here's where it gets wild. There were also documents about Kelly. My stepmom, my mom knew her before she and my dad ever got together. There were emails between Kelly and my dad from years ago, when my mom was still alive. They were having an affair. Worse, my mom suspected they were trying to push her out, even poison her mind emotionally. She'd written in a journal, "If anything happens to me, don't trust them, please protect our daughter." I sat in my tiny room for hours, reading every line, crying, shaking. They didn't just steal my money. They ruined my mom's final years. I didn't know what to do, so I scanned everything. Sent copies to my uncle, a lawyer. He was shocked and furious. Turns out, Kelly and my dad might have committed fraud when they emptied the account. The trust my mom set up secretly is still valid. My uncle is helping me get it back. But that's not all. I sent copies of the affair emails and a summary of everything to a local blogger who reports on town scandals. I didn't expect much, but a week later it blew up. People in our small town started whispering. Kelly worked at the school, she got fired. My dad lost contracts at his job. People started looking at them differently. The perfect family image they'd built, gone. I haven't confronted them yet. They've called and texted, saying I ruined their lives. But I haven't replied, not yet. I'm still trying to figure out what to do next. But for the first time in a long time, I feel like my mom is with me, and I'm not afraid of the truth anymore. After the story broke on the town blog, people started talking, not just whispering, but really talking. Turns out, I wasn't the only person who had questions about my dad and Kelly. Someone sent an anonymous message to the blogger with even more receipts. Things I didn't know, apparently. Kelly's ex-husband, her first husband, left suddenly years ago, and people just accepted her version of the story. But now that the truth is out, he came forward too. He said she cheated on him with my dad while they were still married. It's like the whole town just opened their eyes all at once. One of Kelly's old friends even messaged me, saying she cut Kelly off after finding out she was going through my mom's personal things just weeks after the funeral. I don't know how to explain the feeling of all this coming to light. It's like everything I felt for years. All the little gut instincts were real. I wasn't being dramatic. I wasn't imagining it. They really did lie, manipulate, and use me. But that's not even the wildest part. My uncle finally got in touch with the lawyer who handled my mom's estate. The lawyer had copies of the trust paperwork my mom filed before she died, the one Kelly and my dad never knew about. And guess what? They can't touch that money. Not now, not ever. It's legally locked for my education, housing, or medical needs. There's nearly $90,000 left in it, all protected. When I found out, I cried. Not just because I'd finally be okay, but because my mom planned for this. She knew she couldn't trust them. She tried to protect me even after death. That love, it's the strongest thing I've ever felt. But there's more. Last weekend, I finally saw my dad in person. Not on purpose. I was walking into the library when he was walking out. He looked like a stranger, tired, angry, confused. He looked at me and said, "You destroyed everything." I just stood there. Then I said calmly, "No, you did." He didn't say another word, just walked away. And in that moment, I didn't feel small anymore. I didn't feel like the unwanted stepchild. I felt free. Kelly, she's hiding. Her Facebook's been deleted. Her kids switched schools. And yeah, I know her kids weren't the ones who made the decisions. But they bullied me too. They were cruel. They told lies about me in high school. So I'm not exactly crying for them either. Right now, I'm staying at my grandma's house while I figure out my next steps. I'm working part-time, going to school, and slowly starting therapy. The trust fund will cover my university next year. I applied for a transfer already. I'm majoring in psychology because I want to understand people, and maybe someday help kids who have been through what I've been through. There's still a lot left to sort out. A possible court case, maybe even criminal charges if we prove fraud. But that's not what this post is about. It's about truth finally rising. It's about a girl they tried to erase, who found her voice, her strength, and her mother's love hidden in a box in the attic. And I have a feeling this story isn't over yet. Not even close. I began working closely with my uncle's legal team to sort out the details of the surviving trust. My mom's foresight in establishing two separate financial mechanisms was far more strategic than we realized. She had set up a discretionary, irrevocable trust, which legally insulated the remaining assets from being accessed or misused by unauthorized parties. Even my legal guardian, which at the time was my dad. What we didn't initially understand was this: the first account, the one my dad drained, was only part of the picture. Yes, he misappropriated those funds. And yes, we have grounds for legal action. But the trust, that was my mom's insurance policy against exactly that kind of betrayal. While the legal proceedings for potential fiduciary abuse and fraudulent conversion are ongoing. I've been working with my therapist to process everything I've learned. And honestly, it's emotionally exhausting, but freeing too. But here's where things take an even darker turn. One of my mom's old friends reached out to me after reading the blog post. She told me she'd been holding on to something for years, but never knew what to do with it. Apparently, shortly before my mom passed, she confided that she suspected someone was tampering with her medication. Yes, you read that right. My mom had an autoimmune condition. She was on several prescriptions, and toward the end, she started feeling worse, more fatigued, more disoriented. She thought the disease was progressing rapidly. But this friend, let's call her Maria, told me that my mom was getting more pills than she remembered taking, and that she even mentioned strange behavior from Kelly. This shook me. It didn't make sense. I'd always believed my mom died of complications, but now I'm not so sure. With my uncle's help, we've started looking into my mom's medical records and prescription logs. He's filed a formal request through a forensic pharmacologist to analyze the dosages and interactions. It's a long shot, but if anything suspicious turns up, this could shift from fraud into something far more serious: medical malpractice or criminal intent. I still don't have proof. I want to be very clear about that. But the pieces, they're fitting together in ways I can't ignore. Meanwhile, Kelly is spiraling. Apparently, she tried to apply for a new job at a nearby private school and was rejected after the hiring team did a background search and found the blog story. Her name has become associated with lies, manipulation, and theft. One of the most surreal moments happened last weekend. I got a letter in the mail. No return address, but I recognized the handwriting. It was my dad's. The letter wasn't angry. It wasn't even apologetic. It was pathetic. He said he never meant to hurt me, that he was just trying to survive, that Kelly pushed him to make hard decisions. He wrote that he missed having a family, that he hoped someday I'd understand. I didn't cry when I read it. I didn't feel anything. Not hatred, not sorrow, just empty. Because that man lost his right to call me family the day he chose to put someone else's kids above me. then lie about it, steal from me, and desecrate my mother's memory. I haven't responded. Right now, I'm preparing to transfer to a university where I can start over. I've applied for on-campus housing, and the trust will help me afford it without loans. I'm studying psychology and ethics, and the more I learn, the more I realize this isn't just my story. It's something that happens to too many vulnerable children and teens who are isolated after the loss of a parent. Financial manipulation by guardians is far more common than people think. So I'm planning something, not just legal action, but awareness. Maybe a blog, maybe a YouTube channel, maybe even speaking out publicly, under my name. Because if my story can prevent one other kid from losing everything the way I did, then maybe all of this pain has some purpose. There's still more to unravel. I haven't even told you what I found in the safety deposit box that was tied to the trust, but that's for another post. Let's just say, my mom had secrets of her own, and I'm just beginning to understand the kind of woman she really was. Brilliant, strong, and way ahead of everyone else. When I opened that old safety deposit box connected to the trust, I expected more legal papers or maybe some photos, but what I found left me speechless. It was a letter from my mom, dated 2 weeks before she passed. In it, she wrote to me, her daughter, knowing she might not be there to watch me grow. She said she hoped the trust had done what it was meant to do, keep me safe and give me choices. She wrote about how proud she was of me, how she believed I'd grow up kind, strong and brave, even if the people around me failed me. And she wrote something I'll never forget. If you're reading this, something went wrong. I hope you never needed this letter, but if you did, then I trust you're stronger than even I knew. Always choose truth. Always choose your own voice. I cried for hours, not because I was sad, but because I felt her more than I had in years. And that's when I knew what I needed to do. The legal case against my dad and Kelly went forward. It was hard, so many documents, interviews, and hours spent in courtrooms. But in the end, justice came. My dad was ordered to pay restitution from the funds he'd stolen. And more importantly, he lost all legal rights to ever access anything tied to my name again. Kelly was found guilty of fraud and breach of guardianship duties. The school she applied to, they're suing her for providing false credentials on her application. Karma, I guess. I didn't do this to destroy them. I did it to free myself. And now, I transferred to university last month. I live in a small, quiet dorm. I made new friends who know me, not my family name or the scandal. I'm studying psychology. And next semester, I'm starting a research project on the emotional impact of parental financial abuse. I also started a small blog. It's not huge, but the stories I've received from other kids, some younger than me, some older, have shown me that this wasn't just my battle. It's something many people suffer in silence, but not anymore, not if I can help it. As for my dad, I haven't spoken to him. I don't think I ever will. He made his choices. I don't carry hate, I carry boundaries. And I carry my mom's strength. To anyone reading this who's ever been betrayed by the people who were supposed to protect you, you are not weak, you are not wrong, and you are not alone. I survived, I rebuilt, and I'm finally free. Thank you for listening.